Hello, buddy.
And hello for me too. Woohoo.
All right, so welcome to the Mikestand, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day, or everybody's had a good week this week. Of course, it's Friday, which means it's our weekly look back at comics history. So tonight we will be looking at comics that went on sale in February 1940 from Fox Features Syndicate, including the first issue of Weird Comics. Um, we'll be looking at, of course, Wonder World Comics Volume 1, Issue 12, Mystery Men Comics Volume 1, Issue 9, Fantastic Comics Volume 1, Issue 5, and Science Comics Volume 1, Issue 3. Plus, we'll have the This Day in Each History segment at the end. Before we get going and all that, I'm going to hand it over to Rick for a moment to do an intro if he'd like. Do you talk about what what he's doing? Promote anything? You got the shtick right there, Rick.
Yeah, I guess so. I get what you're talking about. Well, as he said, I'm Rick, and as my ticker says there, I am also Rick. And of course, Comic is, of course, a comic company that have owned, created, I'm not sure how you want to put it, which, because I make comic books. I have two main characters at the moment. I plan to release a whole bunch of others. Uh, But right now I am on YouTube. So if you want to check me out here on YouTube, just look up Cross Comics. And I'd put a link in, but who knows with my net what would happen there. But
Yeah.
as of next Wednesday on here, that won't be a problem for a while, anyways.
All right.
So
So
hopefully not again.
yeah. All right. Well, with that, okay, let's see. I guess we'll give it a couple more minutes to give people a chance. We'll try to chat it up before we actually get started. So the characters, of course, we're going to be looking at from Weird Comics is going to be Thor, but not Marvel's Thor, mind you. But there's
Yeah.
apparently prior to Marvel Thor, Fox Features Syndicate came up with a character named Thor as well.
Uh,
Birdman. Um,
well,
Go
they
ahead.
would probably they didn't come up with character. They didn't probably come up with the character name for it. They just took it
They
from the
just
same place
simply
Marvel does.
adapted the legend. Yeah, adapted the
Yeah,
so.
you know.
Then we have Birdman, not to be confused with Hanna Barbera's Birdman. I'll have Patty O'Day. Um,
Happy
Patty
O'Day, you say. Eh,
Yep, Patty O'Day, Navy Jones. Um, let's see,
Happy O'Day and Navy Jones.
Zanzibar the Magician and Stardust the Super Wizard. So, um,
Stardust, the Super Wizard.
mhm,
Let's get Stardust to face off against Doctor Strange.
mhm.
That could be a weird tale.
Uh huh. That's gonna do something. Let's see.
Or it could be a weird mystery.
All right. So, anyways, let's see. Let's see. Where are we at time wise now? Let's see. We're
Coming
at
up on
four and a half
5 hours.
minutes. So I think we'll go ahead and get started then. Pull up
Yeah.
the.
Hopefully we'll get some hopefully we'll get some people in the chat as we go on.
Yep. And get them communicating. So, Weird Comics number one. So, look at that. Now, this is from a character called Dr. Mortal. Look at that creature.
It looks like some sort of ape type creature,
Yeah.
at least first glance.
Let's see. You got the Birdman, Thor, Voodoo Man, Typhon, Submarine Adventures. practically a gift. Comics code. Not a toy, but a real projector. Hmm.
Ooh, I guess it's somehow you put it up on your wall.
Hmm. Thor, God of Thunder by Wright Lincoln.
I must say I do like the lettering for Thor.
Yeah. Oh, the lettering up here?
Yeah, and that's not so much sure about the god of thunder, but for Thor itself, yeah.
Grant Farrell, an ordinary mortal, is suddenly invested with the supernatural powers of the ancient god Thor, son of Odin, supreme ruler of Valhalla.
Well, it definitely sounds a little bit like just with that, although they tweaked it a little. It sounds like Stan Lee, who I think was the one that started Thor for Marvel. Sounds like he did take a little bit of this with him with the whole Donald Blake thing, but instead of giving Donald Blake the powers, he just made it so Thor transformed into a human with no powers. I think, or was Donald? I forget how that actually worked. Whether Donald Blake actually was Thor or whether he, just sort of transformed into Thor, who is his own person. I forget whether. No, I'm not sure whether you know which way it was exactly
Yeah, all
or not.
I remember more from the cartoons. Donald Blake would strike his cane down, and all of a sudden the cane would turn into a hammer, and he'd go from being a frail human to being Thor, God of Thunder. That's about as much as I remember. So,
Okay, so you're not sure whether Donald Blake was actually Thor
well, I never read the
or
comics. I watched the cartoons though, but
yeah, but
so
those cartoons back then were a lot more accurate, I believe, to
well, the
the
Marvel
comics. I think.
superheroes one what probably was probably one of the more accurate ones because they actually took them directly from the comic. Okay, they sat there and
Yeah,
they actually, you know, instead of doing what would have been considered traditional animation at the time, they simply just used a little bit more stop motion stuff and they just pretty much just put the page up there and you watch the page. So um,
yeah, and they did some fancy editing, so that's why I was just saying, uh, you know, we don't know, or just that if that's what you remember from the cartoon, even with that, you're not quite sure. So it's
yeah.
I'm just saying.
And of course Thor would have, of course,
Anyways, we should get on with this.
he'd have other guest appearances too. Guest appear. He had a guest shot on Spider-Man and His Brave Friends. He had a cameo. He had, I think, a couple of
Yeah,
cameos in the '90s cartoons. So, um,
yeah,
but anyways, let's get ready to Thor, God of Thunder, looks down upon the world from his lofty castle in Valhalla. He he finds
he fine.
there is need on earth for his mighty powers. Like yeah, so his design's a little bit different from what we would see later in Marvel. Um,
Yeah, yeah. It looks like he's just got the underwear and some boots,
yeah.
bare chest, bare legs.
He hurls his magic hammer at a stream of lightning. Wow, look at that! He just cracks that lightning in two there.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure whether it would be called this in this, but Mjolnir. I'm not sure whether I don't know a lot about the Thor legend, of course.
The hammer returns to his hand. Let's see. My power is as strong as ever. I will invest my ordinary mortal with. I will invest an ordinary mortal with great power. Meanwhile, on Earth, Grant Farrell takes his girl to dinner. Oh, Grant, I wish you weren't so afraid of adventure. Why are you such a stay at home? You want to do Grant right
I,
there?
yeah, I figured you might want me to. I suppose you'd like me to lose my life over some foolish heroics. I'm not the romantic He-Man type, Glenda. I'm sort of. I'm sorry if I bore you.
Suddenly, a strange man approaches. He asks to cut in, and Glenda, fascinated, agrees to dance with him. By the end of the evening, Glenda has been completely charmed by the suave adventurer.
Well, she's certainly not a good witch.
Yeah. Grant sadly saunters home in the moonlight. Completely dejected, Grant contemplates ending his life. Wow, serious, serious, pretty serious.
Yeah, for sure.
Out of
You
nowhere,
like you.
uh,
I was just gonna say he loses his girlfriend. He's had other girl. I'm not sure whether he's had other girls before or not, but if she
out of
doesn't want you, if she doesn't want you, that because you're not quite the type of guy that she wants you to be, then maybe it's good that she's gone. Get a girl that's gonna like you for you.
hmm, out of nowhere, in a crashing peal of thunder, Thor appears before him. My son, I have work for you to do. You will have undreamed of
Undreamed.
powers. Soaring through the clouds, Thor mounts with Grant to his home in Valhalla. Oh boy, you know where that would probably go today, right? Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Well, I let this is different. Where this is just, of course, they're doing almost the way that a lot of people view, the Christian God up there in the clouds, So
Mhm,
probably even like Mount Olympus, where Marvel does it, where Valhalla is like a completely different um, planet, for lack of a better way of saying it, plane of existence.
mhm.
You know,
Yeah, and what I was kind of going with it was people like Elk would probably take this as another piece of quote unquote evidence that there was gay innuendo in comics back in this day. That's where I was kind of alluding to.
uh,
But anyways, I will teach you how to use my ancient powers. The lightning will be your servant. My magic hammer, your weapon. Transformed into Thor's being, Grant surveys the world. From Valhalla, he sees Glenda surrounded by a group of sinister looking men whom he recognizes as spies.
okay, he recognizes them as spies by just seeing them. That's
Returning to his
interesting.
returning to his room, the new Thor resumes the form of Grant Farrell. You do Grant, I'll do the Thor form. You do Grant form. Go ahead.
Okay. Must warn Glenda to stay away from those men.
It is possible too that he recognized them as spies, maybe because the godlike power gave him that divine intuition, intuition rather.
I guess so, but I think that's. I guess that if it can give the hearts of men, the thoughts and whatever of the hearts of men to know what they think and feel or whatever, if you know what I mean. To look into it. Anyways.
But even as he enters her house, a car pulls up. Wait till her boyfriend goes. Don't be silly. Oh,
yeah, that's her. Kale's going to her.
Don't be silly, old woman. Those men are worldly, romantic. I know what I'm doing. She does she? Later, rough hands seize and drag Glenda into the car. Her captors take her to a waiting plane. Swiftly, they rise into the air and head for South America. Yeah, she knew what she was doing, all right, didn't she?
Yeah.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah, for sure. Hot. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I didn't know if you were responding to somebody else.
I just said for sure not to, being facetious or whatever to your comment about her.
Glenda finds that she's been kidnapped by her adventurous friends. Yeah. Did you want to do the game?
Do it, or you want it?
You can do the game.
Either one. You will help us find the Adrian mines, which our country will capture. You will pose as a tourist.
Yeah, they got her gagged so she can't respond. Suddenly, Thor speeds after the plane on a bolt of lightning. Utilizing tremendous power over the elements, Thor creates a bunding thunderstorm and forces the plane to land.
I think it's blinding.
Blinding? Oh, okay.
I think that's blinding.
Blinding. A blinding thunderstorm and forces the plane to land.
Oh, Elk's here. Hey, Elk.
Hey, Elk, we're reading Fox's Thor right now.
Yes, in the book of weird stories.
Comics,
Comics.
Weird Comics, Volume 1, Issue 1. Hail Xenu Xena, blessed be thy name. Praise them with great praise. All right. All right. So, as we continue on, Thor rescues Glenda. Well, get you out of danger. We'll get you out of danger now. He carries her to the ledge of a high cliff. Oh boy. Tanks moving into Andorra. I'll stop them. Hurling his mighty hammer, Thor smashes the advancing tanks.
I guess nobody's saying no tanks now. Or maybe they are saying tanks. They're saying no tanks now.
You'll be safer across the border in Endura. After leaving Glenda, Thor returns to the front. He appears at the mines as Grant Farrell.
Want me to do this guy or not?
Yeah, I think let's see. I think I might have. Well, yeah. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. There's the girl's boyfriend now. How did he get here? That's the guy in the green.
Oh yeah. Glad you came to visit us, young fella. But he ties Grant in the mine. Grant overhears plans to blow up the mine and cripple the Endurian military power. Glenda is not content to stay behind the lines. I'm going to warn the Endurians about the mines. But she is soon seen by the spy. Glenda, I thought she was struck by lightning. Oh, sorry, you can't be useful to us now. Roughly, he throws her into the shaft.
He didn't bring her far away from the fight. If he just brought her over the border, I thought he would bring her to a city or whatever.
Yeah. Grant, something. How in the world did you get here?
Well, Glenda, I just decided to have a little adventure, so I followed you.
Let's see. Suddenly, with a thunderous roar, the mine explodes. Grant, rising in the form of Thor, swiftly catches the falling men. Someone is screaming in the shaft. That has been blocked. Glinda! He hurls his hammer at the huge stone that crashed before the shaft. Glinda follows the mighty Thor out of the shaft. Suddenly, Thor sees the spies escaping in a tank. Once more, the magic hammer strikes. Clang! Clang! Oh boy!
I must say, for this story has a lot of extra disbelief to be suspended. Like
the story
has a lot of extra disbelief that you have to suspend for it. I think. Well, we don't even know how he transformed into Thor there, and Glenda was right beside him. So, did he say a magic word and suddenly became Thor? And then he
I think
suddenly
back in these days, they weren't. I don't think they really cared as much about the details. They just kind of went for it.
Yeah, I know. But it's the retrospect part, looking back and thinking, "Oh my God, what were they thinking?"
Yeah. Swiftly, Thor streaks across the border, carrying the helpless spies. Suddenly, they are hit and shattered by their own anti-aircraft guns.
Ooh, ouch.
That puts an end to this little South American adventure. Now I shall take Glinda back to her home. Grant, after safely depositing Glinda, returns to Valhalla to tell tales of his first adventures as Thor. You have well earned the right to my name and my magic hammer. They are now yours to keep. Grant returns back to Earth on a bolt of lightning. Several days later, Grant, how did you escape from the mine?
I flew out. How did you?
I was rescued by the most wonderful godlike man. You will never be like him. Or so she thinks, right, Rick?
Yeah.
Uh,
No, too bad. Goodbye.
well, okay, there was a bit of a narrative box there before.
Oh, sorry.
Glinda is astounded at his unconcern.
No, too
Now say
bad.
it.
Goodbye.
But Grant has more important things to think of than the whim of a girl. Read more about Grant Farrell's adventures in the next issue. Weird Comics is on sale the 15th of every month.
Well,
There's
at least he
still,
was, he ditched her, which he should, because, but at least he was nice enough to rescue her before ditching her. Unless we see her again next issue or whatever.
well, yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see
But
her next issue. I think she's serving as the primary love interest for Grant Farrell here. That's my take on it. So overall, what did you think of that story, Rick?
Overall, it was interesting. I don't know what the first Marvel Thor story was like, but I do think this one leaves a little bit to desired. I think there are some elements that I liked. Um, I think it obviously would need to be very much refined. And as I was saying near the beginning of it, I think Marvel or Stan, if he's the one that created Marvel's Thor, I forget for sure. I think he took a few things from this because he would have probably been alive reading this, possibly at the time. So it could have
Uh,
inspired
I,
him.
I think. Let's see. This is 1940, so America wasn't in the war. He actually might have been. He might have even been as. Well, no, because he
Yeah, a
would have been
copy
12.
boy.
He would
Yeah,
have been
he could
like
have been the
10 or
copy.
11. So I guess he would have been just been reading the comic. Because I do know they said something about him being an editor at a pretty young age too. But I think
Yeah,
he.
well, I think we've looked into this a little bit before, and I think at this time he might have been a copy boy
Yeah.
or something to that effect.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, move on to the next story. And you had to kind of excuse me. I didn't get much sleep last night. It was up till like 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning.
Uh, yeah, I've had days like that.
Uh,
But for being in a book called Weird Comics, I wouldn't. I guess in some ways that story is weird, but not in the ways that I would expect something to be weird for uh,
Hmm.
you know, uh, comic or whatever to be weird in a book called
Well,
Weird
yeah,
Tales.
and they do have some sci-fi adventures here, some science and
Yeah,
sorcery. So,
yeah.
Doctor Board on this. Okay, that monster-looking guy, I believe,
Hmm.
like on the cover.
Doctor Mortal.
Voodoo Man.
Blue Man. Hmm.
Okay. Oh, kind of just mentally left my concentration there for a moment. The Birdman by
Yes, yeah.
Arnold Mager, I believe, or Major.
Oh,
All right, so let's see this. Oh, okay. Over the vast wilderness of the Great Western Canyon swoops the Birdman, winged hunter of the plains. Look at
no.
that.
Yeah, this design actually reminds me of a character DC has called Condor or Black
Black
Condor.
Condor.
I'm not
Actually,
sure.
though, Black Condor was not originally a DC character. He's actually originally a quality character. He
Yeah,
was in
but
Quality Con.
eventually
He's
became
one
DC
of
character.
several characters that DC picked up when Quality went under in like the late 50s. He's a part
Yeah,
of
DC bought them up.
part of the same group of heroes that also includes um, Plastic Man, the Blackhawks, Uncle Sam. You know that
Yeah,
group.
the Freedom Fighters.
Yeah.
That was their group. The Human Bomb, Doll Woman, Doll Man, I believe,
Yeah.
or Doll Girl. I'm not sure whether it's girl or woman, but yeah.
Yeah. So
I know the characters you're talking about. I'm just saying, with that look, it does look like Black Condor a little bit.
a descendant of an ancient Indian god, the Birdman is gifted with the ability to fly and then the keenness of a bird of prey. Three weary, discouraged men search the endless canyon for a lost girl. Look, a winged man. Maybe he took my daughter.
Jeez, that's very.
Jump, isn't it? That's quite a jump. Well, because the guy's flying around, he must have kidnapped my daughter. That because the dude's just flying around. So that's quite a jump. That's quite a
Yeah,
logical.
yeah, yeah. It's like, yep. The strange guy is the guy that we need to blame. You know,
Yeah,
it's never. It hasn't been established that your daughter was taken by anyone, buddy. As far as I know, she could just be lost in the desert. Maybe this guy, because he's flying high, can help you find. Maybe that's what you should first be thinking. Hey, this guy's way up there. He can see what's all around better. Maybe he can help us.
yeah. Bringing up his gun. One of the men fires, but the Birdman drifts down unharmed. You want to do Birdman right there,
Okay.
Rick?
Why do not fear me, wanderers? What are you doing in this desolate part of the canyon.
This man's daughter has been lost. We've searched for days, but there's no sign of her. Suddenly, weak from hunger and fatigue, the aged father collapses. The birdman sights a lion running over a distant hill.
Now, before we find your daughter, you must eat. Ah, yonder, yonder is a young deer. Was there anything?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
with true aim, he sends his silver arrow. Um, have
Towards.
wavering towards the buck. Swiftly spreading his wings, he follows the arrow's flight.
Wonder what happened with the lion. He said about the lion, and then nothing happened with that lion. I know there was
Yeah,
probably a picture about it, but
they couldn't have eaten the lion. Yeah. Snatching up the carcass, the birdman returns to the grateful men who fall upon who fall upon it hungrily.
shouldn't you cook it first, guys?
Meanwhile, at the barren home of the stone men, the old man's daughter stands bound to a rock. Surrounded by his evil creatures, the stone man sneers at the girl. So I guess we can then testify now that one of the Birdman's first rogues here is the Stone Man.
Yeah. Is it?
The Birdman versus the Stone Man.
Wonder if he ever gets stoned. And take that how you want to.
Well, there's a couple of interesting, stone as in the biblical meaning of somebody throwing stones at somebody, and then there's also stone the idea of getting high. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you can take that whichever way you want.
yeah.
Double entendre.
You shall be the queen of Lone Canyon, beautiful one. Suddenly, the Birdman alights before the Stone Man. Oh yeah, he shot an arrow right at her mons. Coyotes, kill him! Fiercely, the animals leap at the Birdman, their evil fangs bared.
Oh, just because they're being controlled by an evil man doesn't mean that they're evil.
Look, there's a condor going after the girl.
Yeah.
Slashing the coyotes to death, he suddenly sees a vulture sweep the girl into the sky. I guess it's swift as light. He follows it, fitting his silver arrow in the bow. The wounded bird mocks its prey. Swooping down, the Birdman catches the falling girl and takes her back to her father. I will be forever grateful to you. With a wave of farewell, the Birdman flies away over the canyon. Follow the flight of the Birdman in the next issue. So there we go. How did you like that story, Tim?
Yeah. Where's Tim?
Oh, I'm sorry, Rick. I'm sorry, my brain's a little loopy tonight.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. I guess it was all right.
There are
This
some leaps
new
in
book,
logic in those two stories, though, weren't there?
yeah, this is a new book. I think the other books have been picking up on the writing and getting better, if I remember. But the writing in this book, at least with the two stories we read, is a little atrocious, to say it nicely.
They just kind of threw something together. I know that one of the things Tim and I talked about before, the idea is that this is a time when it seemed like they were just throwing story ideas off a wall and just seeing what stuck.
Yeah, I get throwing stories idea off a wall, but like let's have a little integrity in our writing. This is the second story for sure. Maybe even the first one is like something that I might have wrote when I was like in my teens. I remember doing a little bit of writing for my comics. I've got a couple of the stories, and they seem as basic, for lack of a better word. Not that you would expect much more than basic for this time, but it's like the maybe it's just because it's a new book, and a whole new bunch of new stuff, that
That's possible.
because like I said, if I remember right, the other stories were getting a little bit better, I believe. Well, since we're going into another one from Fox, is it? We'll
Yeah.
see.
All, all the stories we'll be doing were published by Fox Features Syndicate. It's from Wonder World Of course, Wonder World Comics is the home of our buddy the Flame, the guy who can basically
Yeah.
travel through any form of fire. If you remember that, Rick.
Yeah, I do remember him. Well, that's remembering this flame is sort of easy because, of course, I do have a flame character in amongst my characters. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, remembering that there was another flame out there, it's probably
There's
easy.
your old buddy Yarko, Yarko the Great.
Yeah. Wonder World Comics.
Let's see.
Maybe when I get back, maybe when I get to where I'm going, I might do a try and do some sort of drawing up of some of the heroes in this universe. Like hope for
Patio Day. Here you go. The
oh,
Farmhouse Murder Mystery starring Patio Day, newsreel reporter. Uh, so here we go. Let me just. I want to check here real quick before we continue on. Okay. All right. So here we go. Hum, uh, hum. Come down to the office at once. The chief is giving us a new assignment. Ha hum. Say, does that slave driver realize it's only 12 o'clock of Monday morning?
oh,
12 o'clock Monday morning. I wonder.
oh.
wonder if he means midnight or noon.
Well, I think he's probably talking about noon.
Hmm.
But a guy like this, with the stories that we've read, I'm sure he would have been up way before noon most days.
Yeah. Hmm. I'll let you do the editor there.
Okay.
Because I already took the other two.
I want you and Ham to hop on Central, hop on to hop out
Hop
to
out. Hop
Centralville.
out.
Yeah, I was just seeing that now. Hop out to Centralville and get some pictures of the inventor named Scribble. Scribble.
Ha hum. Isn't he the man who has the formula for a powerful new explosive?
Exactly. And also an excellent motor fuel using hydrogen in water.
Hydrogen. Huh.
Hydrogen. Hydrogen in water. There is no limits to what foreign powers would do for the formula. Yeah.
Hmm.
So even back then, they were speculating about using, water-based. Well, I guess water-based,
Power
fuel for
sources.
birds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
water-based fuel, water-based power sources. Patty and Ham board a plane and arrive in the midwestern town of Centerville. So yeah, Centerville, Midwest, it kind of goes together, right? Center, mid, middle,
Yeah. It's almost where you might expect the Flash. Central City,
Hmm.
although different universe, of course.
Hmm. The papers say Scrabble is an eccentric old fellow. If foreign powers are after his formula, we must see some action. I'm still sleepy. We'd like to rent a car.
Yes,
Yes, miss.
miss.
Oh, okay, I should have let you do that. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, no problem, no problem. I just figured I'd do it right away. That way, you could be scrolling.
Yeah. Look at that old car. Bet he buys his parts in an antique shop. But as the light changes, the old car shoots ahead like a rocket. Wow! Look at that car go! That must be Scrabble himself. Follow him. Another speeding car passes Patty and Ham. Um, he's following Scrabble too. Don't lose him, Ham. There's the Scrabble Ranch. Park the car down the road a piece. Then drive back. I don't want them to notice us yet.
Why not? I
Kind of
think they're
interesting how I'm combining the female accent and the Irish or Scottish accent, right?
yeah. Well,
Uh,
these guys with O'Day is more of an Irish accent, so
mhm.
it would be probably more of an Irish accent that you're going for, and not
Yeah.
a Scottish one.
Hmm. Coming back on scene, they shoot pictures of the two men through the window. Hmm. Well, get some good shots from. We'll get some good shots from here. Looks like an argument is going on. We'll uh, we'll get to all. We'll get it all on film. Muttering threats, the stranger leaves. You want to do the bad guy there?
Stupid swine! I always get what I want. You'll see.
And I'll let you do the inventor here as well.
News people, come inside. At least you won't be trying to get my formula away from me.
Of course not. Of course not. That man just left was who just left. Was he trying to get your formula?
Of course, they all are, but I won't let them have it. Not them
Um, hold on,
foreigners.
hold on a sec, Rick. I gotta check something here. I'm gonna go off camera here for a moment. So just talk to the chat for a moment, because
Yeah,
I gotta
for
check
sure.
something real quick.
Hey, Elk, how are you? Been enjoying what we're reading? Are you still here? Haven't seen you commenting much yet on the stories. Uh, so Tuesday, if you didn't hear, I am going back to Hamilton. So, and I may or may not have my show Tuesday, depending on how when we leave here and when I get in, all that. I'm just playing my new game, Manor Lords. Okay, cool, cool, cool. It's at on computer or a console. What elk? Are you going for a visit to him or moving in? I am moving in with my cousin again for a bit. I'm gonna look for a place uh, and while looking for a job, try and find somewhere cheap to rent. And even if I don't get work at first or interviews, I'm gonna go do some temp stuff. I'm not keen on it, but it'll hopefully it'll bring in some money. Uh, I just a PC came, okay, and I have an old Xbox 360, but I don't even have it hooked up. Ah, okay, cool, cool, cool.
All right. So, anyways, we're back now, so we'll continue on with the comments. And of course, as always, guys, if you haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So with that, let's continue on here with the story here. All right, Rick, you're up there.
Okay, yeah, I'll reread my last thing. Of course, they all are, but I won't let them have it. Not them foreigners. With my invention, one of them there foreign dictators could conquer the rest of the world. It's dangerous, but I got it hid at my laboratory too. There's them as there's them as would kill me for it. A peep at it.
You must be careful. Oh, that's you.
Uh, oh, goodbye, folks. Call again.
Thanks for the pictures, Mr. Scrabble. This air makes me sleepy. Hmm. There's another foreign agent. To see Mr. Scrubble? Yes, a guy with a wicked black beard. Later, at the hotel, Patty awakens him out of a sound sleep. Sorry, hum, but I'm worried about that poor old man, all alone, out there in that lonely farmhouse. Get dressed. We're going out there. Of all the crazy notions that old boy was probably born and raised on the same farm. That's where that's where you're wrong. I heard he had lived there but a short time. He doesn't even knock, he doesn't even answer our knock. He does not answer our knock. Probably not even home. The door isn't locked. Let's go in. Yeah, like that's always something good to do, right? Nobody's
Yeah.
home. Doors unlocked. So let's just go. Let's just walk right in, and make ourselves at home, right?
Yeah, well, in some way, it's a bad idea, but it's a good idea in this case because he's not answering. Something could
He
be
may be
wrong
in
with.
danger. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the gist of it, right there. He may be in danger. I want to make sure he's
Yeah,
okay.
but at that point, you might be better just to call the cops. But then again, the phones. They obviously didn't have a cell phone. The only way to get the cops is to leave the place and then come back.
And the
Yeah,
time that would take him to do all that, if he was there, it'd give the bad guys enough time to get him far away or out
yeah.
of sight.
Uh, yeah, and that, and if he's injured, they could use his phone if he has one, which I think he probably would, to call an ambulance or whatever.
Yeah. Why? Why the place is? Why the place has been ransacked? Eek! It's horrible. Oh my God! Look at that.
Yeah,
You see what happened there, Rick?
yeah. Although I think that ceiling's a little too high from the house that
It's
we saw from the outside.
it's Mister Scrabble. I think he's dead. He's dead, all right. Wonder who did it. Somebody
Now you
put
definitely call the police.
yeah. Somebody put out the lamp. I, I'll get him. You want to do the guy right there?
Stop.
Caught yo. But the shadowy figure chooses to fight, which is much to Ham's taste. Suddenly, furiously, they battle.
Yeah, I'm
That
just waiting
does
for
it.
the.
Uh,
Uh,
what? Coming back from Mars? Now look at that. Look at how they're doing the silhouettes right now. Now there's a very interesting art technique there.
yeah,
See how they're doing the shadow silhouettes right there. I mean now
yeah,
they're all in the one on the right there. It looks almost like
see
they got
through.
the two figures almost transparent like they're ghosts or something like that.
Yeah, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, but that's kind of still interesting, to say the least. Somebody I think goofed on the shading there.
You take that, you nuts, you
No,
nits.
take. I think the line is
Take
take
that, you
Von
one
Mitt.
mitts. Take that, you one mitts.
Um, he knows how to fight. That voice. Feeling her way through the dark to the table, Patty lights the lamp. It's Lord Mike.
Patty. Patty.
So you're the murderer, Lord Mike. A false beard, huh?
Of course not. I thought you were.
Well, for the luck, for the. And that's Lord Mike again.
Can you help me catch the real killer, you mitts? Can
No,
you help me catch the real
Von Mitt.
Von? Yeah, I realized it was Von Mitz after I read it. Real killer Von Mitz, the most dangerous spy living. I've been tracking him for months.
Why? Oh wait. Oh, something kind of went a little goofy here. There's a transition there. It's a little goofy. They all of a sudden fall through. The transition from the
Yeah,
panel on the right there to the one below seems a little goofy.
yeah, they went through some hole in the floor. It looks like.
Yeah, but they didn't seem to indicate up here that they were falling through a hole.
Well, it didn't even seem like there was. Well, go up the panel. You see the window there, and as you look in the window, you don't see a hole in the floor.
Right,
So
or any sign of a trapdoor being released. That was a bit of. I think that was a bit of a
and they
drawing
don't
error.
mention that they see it. They don't mention that they see it or whatever. So yeah, it's a bit
I
funky.
mean, I get the idea of okay, try to put the suspense there at because because a trap door under normal, nobody's gonna see it ahead of time. That's why they call it a trap door. It's a trap. It's like the floor goes out from under you, and you fall to whatever level you
Well,
fall to. But
yeah. Well, there's two different types of trapdoors. There's the trapdoor that, like you said, that, and then there's the one that is hiding a way to escape. Usually you got a rug over it or whatever, so you can't see it. You know, the entrance or whatever, something like that. You make the door inconspicuous, the trapdoor inconspicuous, so nobody can see it. You know,
yeah,
so you can use it, cover it up, and nobody else can, like I said, see it. So, anyways, somehow there's a trapdoor there
yeah.
or some hole.
Hmm. Why the big cave? Look look out, Lord Mike.
I've been shot. I got your gun. I got your gun with the one next time. I'll get you, Von Mitz.
You lucky dog. That
Get
first.
him. Don't let him escape.
Hmm. I'll catch him. Fortune, Fortunately, I have my flashlight. Look, that looks like a pretty powerful flashlight, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I think what she means is it's the flash on her camera.
Yep. I'm fully
Well,
aware of it.
it's a flashlight, but not in the sense that we would think.
Yeah, like a flash bulb, probably.
Yeah.
Just before he is caught, Von Mitch pulls a paper from his pocket and burns it. He's destroying the formula.
No matter. It was a fake, anyways. You did the bad guy there, so.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, the bad guy and Lord Mike both have. No, actually, you were doing. I think you. Oh wait, no, actually, you're right. I did do them. Never mind. Um, a fake. How can that be? I see with my own eyes how fast his new fuel made the old car of his go. I saw it too.
Under the hood of his old car, he had a new aeroplane engine. His game was to swindle your government out of millions.
So so I killed him over uh so I killed him over nothing. Uh,
Well, Patty, you got well, Patty. With your help, I got my man.
and I got some great news photographs. And I got to get some sleep. Good night, folks. See Patty and me in the next issue.
Talk about breaking the fourth wall. And I doubt my cousin's going to kick me out, Elk. She didn't even really want me to leave when I did leave. Um,
Oh, did she give
and
a reason why she didn't want you to leave, or?
just because I was helping her and all that, and, you know.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, I take can I take a wild guess that is she like a single woman who lives alone in her home, basically?
Well, yeah, she's single. She is a woman, and she's a little older than me, but
Yeah,
um,
but okay, but here's the thing. Here's where I'm going with that, though, Rick. Um, having a man, having a guy for a woman, for a single woman who's living alone, having even a male relative living in your home like that, um, might dissuade people from getting any kind of ideas, if you get what I mean.
yeah. Well, she's not worried about that. That's never been a problem for her. We'll say. Uh, just she's a little bit disabled. She never used to be, but she has been in recent years become a little bit disabled. So I was helping her out a lot even before my mom died. I was over there, a couple of times a month or whatever, doing something, or once every other month or whatever. But that's So, but I'm going to be, as I'm there, I'm going to be looking for a place, fairly cheap, a room or whatever. Well, and if, looking for a job either through temp agency or whatever,
Hmm.
doesn't get me anything. I am going to, as soon as I get the room, put out my first deposit. If I haven't got a job by then, I'm going to go on social assistance. And I want to make sure the room is something that I can afford too. You
All
know.
right. So, anyways, let's get ready to move on to the next story here, because we're at an hour 10 now. Of course, as soon as I can find the cursor, that would help.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see, man.
Yeah, well, the only problem with that elk is that she's on disability, and if 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 they find out that I'm making money or she's getting money off me or whatever from that, it could affect her disability check. So, you know, the fact that I'm not giving her any money is actually a good thing, but I help out with groceries or whatever too, so that's a little different. I obviously buy
I
my
think
own
there's
groceries.
Dynamo on the cover there. Let's see.
And other stuff
Science,
that
number 3, Science Comics April cover date with lightning flash Dynamo suddenly appeared. The Eagle, Cosmic Carson, and Perisphere Paya, I guess.
Jane.
Yeah.
Also, he says another reminder that Superman and Batman had many tripe tropes from back then. Okay.
There's the Eagle. There's Dynamo, Dynamic Man,
Eagle.
Electricity,
I,
Electricity.
I actually
Go
have a
ahead.
character. I have a character I call Eagle too, so might be interesting as we
Well,
buy
Eagle's
that.
actually another popular one that a lot of people seem to have as a character name. And we're trying to get down to the bad guy there's about to stick that girl with a electric stick or something like that. Yeah, Perisphere
Like,
Pain. We're looking for Navy Jones, who's like at the very bottom here. Arcade or the art build an Arctic schooner. Marga the Panther Woman. There's Doctor Doom, but not of course Marvel's Doctor Doom. It's somebody else.
is there Doctor Doom in all red there?
Navy Jones. Underseas by Frank Raleigh, I believe. Capable of breathing in water, Navy Jones has renounced his life on land and cast his lot with the king of fishmen and Princess Coral. So kind of an Aquaman-esque story here.
Yeah, I was just
I
gonna
actually
say.
thought this was going to be a naval story, but or a guy in the Navy or something like that. But
Yeah, I wonder whether it's. I was thinking Davy Jones's locker too, but
yeah,
well, just with the name Navy Jones.
yeah. Under Navy's direction, the rebuilding of the Fishman City proceeds at a rapid pace. Yeah, you got elements of Aquaman and Submariner here.
Yeah,
Navy speaks to the fishmen throughout the visophone. Search every wreck for usable material. Here's a parser's ship. Wrenching open the crushed door, Navy finds the walls lined with gold bullion. So he's even got aquatic strength too, apparently.
yeah.
Uh,
Gold, gold. Why we find lots of this. We use it for ornaments and decorations.
I've got an idea. We can trade the gold on land for the supplies we need.
That's a
Without
smart.
the oh, go ahead.
I just said that's a smart.
Without delay, small groups canvass several vessels for gold under Navy's orders. They are transported near the surface. Two simple fishermen tend their nets in a calm sea as the gold is carried up from the ocean floor. Suddenly, one of them notices the extra weight. Pedro, give me a hand with the nets, quick. Sacre, Pedro, it is gold. The speedy smack streaks home. In a tavern that night, the fisherman pours out his tale to an evil-looking stranger. Oh boy! Don't you guys? Well, that's kind of the problem with going to bars, right? If you start drinking alcohol, you're gonna lose any kind of sense of okay, maybe I shouldn't be talking to this guy because this guy may not have my best interest in mind.
Yeah,
Right?
and you gotta love how. Yeah, no other that, and you gotta love how the narration just says he's evil, an evil-looking guy. It's like okay.
Well, remember though, that's not the speaker there. That's
Yeah,
more the narration right there.
yeah, I get that. It's just the fact that they would say that. That's it's a little hilarious. But and of course, like yeah, this guy gets find some gold in his net, but what's that mean? And I thought they were supposed to be trading this gold, you know, with people, or to get stuff. What did they get off this fisherman guy? Did they take his nets? And
Yeah. Well,
things
anyways,
got a little convoluted.
hmm,
Maybe we'll find out.
yeah. Well, anyways, a shadowy figure watches as they load the smack with the Navy's supplies. I'll let you do that guy right there.
Okay. We've followed, and if that crazy story is true, then the gold rush will be ours.
Let's see. Trailing the smack, the gangsters black nosed boat um, keeps a short distance.
Elk
Sudden-
says they will leave a note in a bottle in the fishing net.
leading, they pull up beside the fisherman and jump aboard. Brutally, they beat the two men. After throwing over the fisherman's nets, the gangsters um, wait. The gangsters wait. All of a sudden, they see Navy approaching the boat.
Okay, I am thoroughly confused now. I thought the fishing men. There's probably I'm not sure whether there's one type of fisherman like the fishermen that we would know, but the other fishermen that I thought were people living below the sea.
Well, I think now I think up to this point, this part of it, Navy hadn't actually engaged them yet. That
Yeah.
might be Navy
So
may not.
I was thinking at first I was thinking this is some other boat, but it made it sound like the fishermen here that have the gold. I thought it was the one from the bottom of the sea.
Anyway, do you want to do this here, Rick?
Okay. Look, look, there's a guy swimming into the nets.
They throw over a grappling hook. As it catches Navy, the vicious points dig deep. Ouch.
Oh, yeah,
Ouch.
for sure.
That's gotta hurt.
I wonder if that's supposed to be going through him because like for in his body, that one spot does not look. I would like to know how it got in him there without going through any other part of his body or those other hooks.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be very similar to how they actually catch fish. But anyways.
And you would think if he started to feel pain, he would move away from those hooks. He's not quite like a fish. So has a few. You would think he has a few more brains.
Hmm. They would leave a boat.
That's note.
Leave a note in a bottle in the fish nets. Like Amazon of the seas. Yeah, I mean that would the whole idea of putting a note inside of a bottle was a common theme for a long time there.
Yeah, that's usually if you're on a desert island, you put a note in the bottle and toss it, and you hope somebody in civilization finds it, although they have no idea where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, on with the.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, just saying on with the story.
Yeah. Okay. All right. He is dragged out of the sea and lifted onto the fishing smack. But Navy comes aboard, fighting and lashes out with flying fist. In the skirmish, one of the men goes over the side. Locked in combat, Navy and the leader follow into the sea. Before he can rescue them, they sink to even to a pressure depth that which burst them into cold blood.
Jeez, I get this. I get getting knocked over the side, but is he knocked out as he gets over the side? Can this guy not swim?
Anyways, taking a deep gulp of water, Navy boards the ship again.
Instead of a deep gulp of air, it's a deep gulp of water.
Yeah, he releases the fisherman, and the gold is traded for supplies. Then back into the sea, the fishman's city. All right. The gold. She's really not. I would think I have dream it. Follow the further adventures of Navy Jones in the next issue.
That wasn't too bad, except for the confusing part about the fishermen. I think having regular fishermen and the fishermen city, which under the sea, which I thought if it's a fisherman city under the sea, I would think fishermen live there, or
Well,
what
I
they would
think like maybe so.
Atlanteans or whatever.
I think the people of that undersea city were somewhat amphibious. In other words, they could breathe water and air. You know, but
Yeah, yeah,
they
I get
could
that,
prefer
but
water.
they're calling them fishermen, and then they're interacting with fishermen. That gets, or I think they're calling the people underneath the sea fishermen. That ends up getting a little confusing,
Mhm.
you know. And like I said, they put gold in these first fisherman's net for what reason? Like you take the gold, you bring it up to them. Hey, you want to trade for this? And let them figure out that it's real gold. He he gave some gold away for free. Okay, I don't mind if you give gold away for free if that's your objective, but your objective was to trade the gold.
All right. So
So,
now we're gonna be
uh,
moving as soon as I can get it. We're gonna be moving out into Mystery Men Comics number 9. As soon as I get a chance to
get
plug
up
that
to the top,
in.
and we're coming up to the hour and a half mark.
Yeah, we only got a couple more, and the last 2 stories here will be 6 pages each. I think we'll still get everything done before by 2 hours. So we'll be.
Okay.
I think we'll be fine because the next 2 stories are like one of the little tricks I do for during these shows, Rick, is I'll usually when I select a number of stories like this. I'll go in, when the reading order I usually will take, it will be like descending page count order. So I'll
Oh yeah,
usually,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I get that because I've been with you enough to figure that out.
yeah, these
I was
last,
I was just saying it just in case that what you the timing, like
yeah, the
I just
hour and
let you
27. I see that now because I just came
yeah
back on here to. So,
yeah.
anyways,
I was just letting you know to let you know so you can make
right,
decision. And I'll be with you in a sec. I want to grab a sip of juice.
all right. So, as we, of course, wait for Rick to come back, of course, and as um, I pretty much try to um, get the next comic set up. It'll be Mystery Men Comics number 9. We'll be doing Zanzibar, the magician next. So I grab that. Oh, and we're doing number 9.
And oh yeah, Elk, I hope you like the apples you were eating.
And here, let's see. Rex Dexter Mars right there, along with Green Mask, Blue Beetle, and Mothman. Of course, we're going to do Zanzibar this time. There's the Blue Beetle, one of
The Boo Beetle. Boo the
Wing.
Beetle.
Rex Dexter Mars. Ooh. Ooh.
Use me. They are Galos. Galos? My favorite are delicious, but they are not so easily. But they not so easily when you don't live in apple country. Yeah. Well, there's a lot. There used to be. I remember delicious around my area, Hamilton, a lot. But my favorite are Macintosh or Granny Smith. Isn't this Zanzibar?
That probably is him right there. Yeah, that's him. Oh, here we go. Zanzibar the Magician and the Phantom of Cadell. Sudden terror sweeps the village of Cadell. Look! A light! In the castle! The phantom has returned! Hurry home! Within the castle, the dreaded phantom rises at twilight. Oh, now for a stroll through the village. Strolling through the village, the phantom finds the streets empty. A beautiful girl comes to visit her father. I didn't know I was coming. Come, I didn't let him. I didn't let Dad know I was coming. He'll be surprised. I'm sure he will. Especially if there's a monster haunting the village. Uh, you might get a little surprise at your
Yeah.
own there, young lady.
Yeah. Elk says Zanzibar was a German colony and a spice port. Cool.
Well, in this case, he was actually the name of a magician in this comic book. Um, what is this? The village looks empty. So early in the evening? This is strange. I've a feeling someone's watching me. You are right, my beauty. I've been waiting. I've been watching you. Too bad she has fainted. The following morning, you want to do the villager here?
Uh, a suitcase? What suitcase? Look, come here. Look here. Are the initials JR? Who can that be?
Let me see. Yes, it's my daughter. The Phantom he has taken her. Well, well. This man seems to be in trouble. What's wrong, sir? The phantom who lives in that castle has kidnapped my daughter. The phantom? Do not worry, old chap. Your daughter will be back safely. Zanzibar departs for the castle. The door is open. That's good. Let's see. Through the passages, he hears weird organ music. Zanzibar reaches a large hall just as the captured girl snatches the Phantom's mask. Oh boy! Look at the guy who's behind the Phantom mask there. Dude
Yeah,
kind of
no
looks like
wonder
a
he's wearing.
dummy, like a wooden dummy face.
Yeah, it also looks little feminine. Ugly girl.
Yeah. Aha! So you want to see who I am? There is that. There, I am. there is that much better? Oh, pardon me. I am looking for the phantom. Could you? I am the phantom. What are you doing here? I've come to take the girl back. How interesting. And what if I prevent you from doing so? I have great strength.
Yeah, but
Ha ha
smell
ha.
isn't everything.
What was that?
I said, yeah, but smell isn't everything.
Yeah. Ha ha ha! You can't fling me off. That's what you think. You will never get out alive. Instantly, the phantom turns a wheel in the next room. From the ceiling pours steaming molten lead. Oh, the old buried in molten lead gimmick.
Yeah.
There's something for you. All right,
What's that?
that's the old molten lead gimmick right there.
Yeah.
That's original, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see now. Zanzibar acts quickly. Zoctau! With Zanzibar's magic words, a super glass bowl encloses them. Wow. But the fiery metal creeps dangerously toward kegs of powder. We've got to get out of here. Zoko Grobo! Again, Zanzibar gestures. A rocket appears. They board it and zoom across the blazing room. It crashes through the heavy stone wall and away from danger. With a violent burst, the castle of the Phantom are blown to bits. There's Carl's Inn right there. You've saved my life. Uh huh. Follow another thrilling adventure uh, um, of Zanzibar the Magician in the next issue. What did you think of that story, Rick?
Well, I don't think it was that thrilling. um, yeah,
Oh, that's
Zanzibar used to have big. It was a cute little story for sure. Zanzibar I think used to have a little bit bigger stories. You know.
yeah. Well,
Um,
as time goes on, some features will grow, some features will shrink. Anyways, I need to step away from the computer for a moment because, as you can probably tell, it's getting dim. We're of course here on the West Coast, where it's like 7:30 now, so I need to make some lighting adjustments here. So I'll be right back. You want to talk to Elk here for a moment while I take care of the
yeah.
lighting system here.
What year is this? Pre-war? No. Technically, the war started. This is being done in, I believe, February of 1940.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pre America's involvement in the war. This comic book cover dates April of 1940, but the on sale date was actually February of 1940. In fact, I think it says so right there. It's on sale on the 18th of or 15th of the month. But anyways, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Rockets are pretty rare. Yeah. Well. from the look of it, it's not a regular rocket. It seemed to be like a rocket ship. Although I can't see Jessica using a rocket to go through that over that little bit of space. Not a lot of rockets in media before 1942 or so. But although I can't scroll up to show it, it seemed me more to be a little rocket ship, not so much a rocket, or what I would think of as a rocket, anyways. Maybe we can get when Mike gets back, get him just to put it up just slightly. Yeah, Wellington had congruous rockets in his army, but they were not effective. Yeah, these are not, of course, I don't think the rocket in here is not like a rocket that you would launch like a missile or whatever. At least it did look that way to me. Because rockets, I think of like missiles, like what you're talking about for firepower. Those, or that's what I think you're more talking about. Rockets that are like missiles, where this rocket seemed to be more like a rocket ship. So it would be interesting to know how rockets inhibited science fiction before V1 and V2 rockets. Now, by V1 and V2 rockets, are you talking like missile or armament type rockets? Elk? Because that's, like I said, that's what it sounds like. Correct me if I'm wrong.
All right, so you want me to scroll back up to look at the rocket from the
Yeah,
story?
I
Yeah,
think it's
the
only up a panel or two.
that right there.
Hold on, it's not showing it yet for me. Yeah, well, yeah, there's that. And what about just below that, the other panel, where it's coming out of the house? Yeah, that looks like. Does that look like a rock? They don't seem to be on the rocket. They're supposed to be on the rocket, right, or in it? So
They're probably in it, probably. But
yeah,
that what I think that was how they were designing rockets at that point in comic book. You have to remember, um, like rockets as transports were not a thing yet. It would still be about another 25, 30 years before you'd see like a rocket ship per se. That's
yeah,
looks more like a missile with a point at the top of it.
yeah. Well,
If you look
that I
at it,
get.
it looks kind of like a dart, like a like
Yeah,
a
well,
like a
that
powered
I
dart.
get. That I get and all, but from what I can tell from what Elk's talking about, he's thinking when they said rocket that it's more of a rocket like armament, like you a rocket launcher, that you'd put on your shoulder and shoot out a
Oh yeah,
rocket, which
I
would be
mean,
like a
well,
missile. So obviously this does not look like it's like that, in my opinion. This looks like something that they boarded, got into, and it's a transportation type rocket or
but it's
rocket
probably a
ship.
combination. Again, it's probably just where their imagination was going. Like if a rocket, if if a rocket was used as a transport, there's probably because that design right there, I've seen that in a number of comics that
Yeah,
that
comics,
high
TV
element.
series, cartoons. Yeah, that I get as a transportation. Yeah, and we've seen it. I think for just
I mean,
armament.
yeah. Look. Yeah, you just mentioned the cartoons too. I mean, look at some of the rocket ships they had in like cartoons, like Looney Tunes, like Popeye. You know,
Yeah,
at
but
the
my biggest thing here is I'm trying to distinguish this rocket between a rocket as in something to transport and a rocket that is something that you use to blow something up. This it does not look like it's being used to blow something up. This looks like it's being used to transport because, like I said, I believe Elk thinks more when they said rocket that they're talking about something to blow something up at first. Where this one, the brief picture I got looks more like something to transport.
But with all that being said, we do have one more story I want to try to get
Yeah,
to.
and he's like
Stardust, the Super
thousands.
Wizard, in
Yeah, thousands of missile rockets or missiles were dropped down on England. After war, von Braun led the Apollo program to the moon. Von Braun dropped rocket-powered fighter planes in 1944,
hmm.
or developed rocket-powered fighter planes. Yeah, rocket engines, fast but short distances.
All right, so now with that. Okay, so let's see, fantastic comic number 5 is go from here. Oops. All right, so there we go. Let's see. So there's Samson. I know you've read Samson with me before, Rick.
Yeah,
But in this case, we're gonna focus on another story. We're gonna go to Stardust, the Super Wizard.
but two wizards this time around.
Well,
Zarko
a
and
magician and a wizard. Yeah. Well, in this case, though, he's not quite the sorcerer. Um, I think the Stardust is more akin to like Abracadabra from DC Comics.
oh
So it's
yeah.
science and the sorcery are just so indistinguishable. They're so indistinguishable that you can't really tell if it's one or the other. There's Captain Kidd. There's a fiend.
Professor Fiend. How much of a fiend he is. We've read him before too.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about this guy too is that there's another character that he kind of that again it was kind of an archetype for this as well. Do you remember? Do you know which character I'm thinking of?
Probably, but I can't think of it at the moment. From Shazam, right? Or Captain Marvel.
Right, Doctor Savannah.
Yeah.
Kind of more of a comedic version of Doctor Savannah's look.
Alex says most science comics is really science fantasy. True, true.
All right, the Super Wizard Stardust. So here we go. Stardust, the most remarkable man who ever lived and master of interplanetary science, is devoting his entire knowledge and powers to busting crime on the planet.
Oh wow. Jeez, and you think protecting a city for crime is bad? He's protecting planets. What is this guy? A Green Lantern?
After studying his crime detecting scopes, Stardust learns that a dangerous group of crime wizards is planning a wholesale kidnapping of leading Americans. You want to do Stardust right there, Rick?
Okay, let me see here. They all so-called miracle men all attend to that gang.
Stardust uh, dicta dictaphonic view plates reveal startling facts. With our invisible vacuum tubes, we'll capture 100 big shots an hour. That's quite ambitious. If the ransom's not paid, we'll destroy all American business and industry with synthetic tornadoes, powerful enough to wipe out whole cities. Oh, these guys are real charmers, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay, so they're synthetic how? It's like I know like to know how your tornadoes are just synthetic. Synthetic.
Well, synthetic means false or created. Basically, um, not a. I guess they're meaning like not a natural occurring
Yeah.
one that they made, basically. All right, so continue. This is the machine that will draw the air from the outer atmosphere and whirl it into the violence of tornadoes. The brains of the Miracle Men is the terrible wolf eye. Oh, look at that guy's mug.
Yeah,
Wolf.
look at that chin. It arrives 2 days before he gets there.
We'll either control or destroy all the wealth in America. Let's get going. Motor King walks out of his house. Or Henry Lord, the Motor King, walks out of his house. A powerful invisible vacuum tube suddenly draws him out of sight. John Rancab, wealthy financier, disappears in the same manner. So you got New York, Detroit, Palm Beach, Hollywood, Chicago, and scores of others right there.
Hey, look, it's I'll do it. It's the Rapture. That's what a lot of
in,
people would think.
in rapid succession, all over America, the nation's richest citizens become victims of the Miracle Man and the invisible vacuum. The victims are drawn to a great underground vault. They are then blindfolded. News spreads everywhere. America's wealthiest persons miraculously disappear. Gigantic plot feared. The G-men are mystified. We have no clues. Wolfeye prepares to collect the rich ransoms. Was it you who was Wolfeye? Was I?
I'm not sure. I can't. We have no clues. Oh no, that's the.
They must pick.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess I'll just take it.
oh,
They
the
must.
guy with the fin is you.
Okay. They must pay in full or will destroy all they own. From a public phone booth, Wolf Eye calls the FBI office and stuns the G-Men with his message. If the full amount in cash is not placed on top of the Empire State Building at noon, we'll proceed to destroy America. Oh boy, a megalomaniac. Meanwhile, Stardust heads for the Earth. The top of the Empire State comes crowded with G-men. They have decided not to let the ransoms be paid. It's almost noon. Let's see what happens. Wolfeye is watching through his long-range periscope. The G-men have failed to bring the money. Turn loose our death rays and kill them all. The Miracle Man adjusts the death ray gun. Oh, go ahead, Rick.
I was going to say, turn loose the dogs of war. Death ray.
Yeah. So.
They're not standing on this money.
Yeah. The powerful rays flash out as the gang tries to get the focus. Then, with blinding brilliance, another flash intervenes. Stardust uses his boomerang ray and the operators of the death ray, guns and soon destroyed by their own mechanism. It's Stardust! We've been crossed up. Start the tornado right away and head them to New York. The big tornado machine is set in action. A secret roar is suddenly heard over the nearby mountains, and teasers whirl into the air. The gigantic whirl of the artificial wind blows towards New York at amazing speed. Yep, that would be something to behold.
I hate it when death rays won't focus.
People are dazed by the strange sight. What is it? But before they can become panic-stricken, they catch sight of Stardust in the sky. Stardust darts into the heart of the big whirl. His brilliant flash lights the cloud. As he uses his rarefying beam, the whirl sees his violence. Let's see.
It loses its violence.
What was that?
It said loses its violence, not sees its violence.
Loses its violence. Oh. Let's see. The tornado has disappeared. Stardust is running out, ruining our plans. Wolf Eye applies his gland control magic to himself. I'll fix Stardust. He immediately grows to gigantic size. I hope he comes here. In the next instant, a flash vibrates the room, and fusing rays destroy the Miracle Men's entire equipment. Come on, you Wolf Eye. Oh wait, no. Oh wait. Oh yeah. Come on, Wolf Eye. The G-Men want you and your gang. You dirty, I'll kill you. Not yet, Wolfeye. Stardust Stardust uses his reducing ray. And Wolfeye becomes a mere midget. Miracle Man will soon meet G-Men, Wolfeye. Stardust uses his transporting ray, and the rich victims of the Miracle Men are returning safely to their homes, New York, Chicago, and other all places in between. There he goes. He saved America. Watch a super wizard in a fight thriller in the air on the sale of the 10th of every month. So there we go with that one. So how did you like that story, Rick?
It was interesting. We didn't really get to see a lot of the hero in it. And I'm noting this thing, not that it's a bad thing necessarily. A lot of these stories tonight seem to be um, narrative driven, like caption box driven. You know, there's not a lot of
As much
dialogue.
dialogue as usual, yeah. Which is a good thing because, as you can probably tell, I'm practically falling asleep as I'm doing it. Trying to keep myself awake here. But,
Yeah, but that also it takes you away from the story a little bit, and I have it in my comics too, especially my first one. It's a lot driven, but I don't know. It's
right,
just
well,
something
with
to
that, we've got through all the stories we're going to do tonight. So, what we'll do now, of course, today being Friday, May 3rd, 2024, we're going to take a look back at this day in each history. History!
Huck says it was terrible, but I have an affection for it.
1909, let's see, 2019, and 2019. So,
It's like a caricature of an old comic.
all right. So, first off, we're going to head back 30. So, today being Friday, May 3rd, 2024, let's take a look back at this day in each history. History! So, first off, we're going to head back 30 years ago today. As on this date, 30 years ago today, back in 1994, the 700th issue of Action Comics went on sale on this date back in 1994.
I think I actually have that comic.
Yeah, the name of the story was Swan Song, written by Roger Stern, penciled by Jackson Guise, inked by Dennis Rodler. Kurt Swan did the penciling, another penciler. Another inker, Murphy Anderson. Bill Oakley did the lettering, and the coloring was done by Len Wilson. So with that, 30 years ago today, the 700th issue of Action Comics went on sale. Now getting ready to move on to the next piece of niche history here. Moving ahead to 2009, 15 years ago today. Were you about to say something, Rick?
Yeah, Elk says death rays, ratifying rays, ray beams. I only wish there were elixirs.
All right, so on this date, I guess I misread that. Oh well, oops. I
So
must
I
have
guess it
misread
wasn't.
that. I thought that was May. I thought that was May 3rd. So that was April 3rd. Oh well, skip that then.
So I guess it wasn't this day 15 years ago.
Yeah, I misread it a little over. But anyways,
Oh
moving
well,
on. Moving
bound to
on.
happen once in a while.
Yeah, moving on to 2019. On this date in 2019 was the U.S. premiere of the animated movie Ugly Dolls. produced by STX Entertainment. Well, okay, XTX Family, and distributed by XTX Entertainment. So on this date, 5 years ago today, Ugly Dolls premiered in movie theaters. And also on this date, 2019 is just so nice that we're going to hit it twice. And also on this date in 2019, let's see, the Pokemon Company's Detective Pikachu premiered on this date in 2019, 5 years ago today. So Detective Pikachu also premiered on this date. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. That's all we have for the show tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Sorry if I seemed a little off a little bit tonight. Didn't really get much sleep last night. But with that, thank everybody for being here. So before we head out, Rick, you want to go ahead and do an outro?
Just as I said at the beginning, for those that don't know, just go check out my channel here on YouTube, Cross Comics. It's uh, a lot about my comic company, and just about a little bit about me too. Me right now, it's been a lot of just me chillaxing and letting people know what's going on in my life, and having some fun talking about this, that, and everything.
All right. Well, with that, we'll be back here, of course, on Sunday with the weekend edition. We'll have a panel on. Got kind of an idea of something to talk about. Basically, what we're gonna probably do, Rick, and just to let you know. I told you the other day about the article that Tim and I went over with Elk.
In the chat.
Copyright stuff. We're gonna probably be going over that again with the full panel with you and Metal here as well. So I was thinking of doing that. So with that, because it was a pretty good discussion. I'd like to obviously once you guys have a little bit more
expanded
understand what was going on, what we were talking about. Like to hear your thoughts on some of that stuff that we were talking about. So with that.
Yeah.
I thank everybody for being here, and we'll be back here on Sunday. Bye.